students, in this session we are going to talk about punctuation marks. So punctuation marks typically completes a sentence and they are used at different places of the sentence. Some are used in between the sentence, some are used at the end of the sentence. So we are going to talk about full stop, comma, question mark. And we are also going to discuss the rules where we use these three punctuation marks in the sentence. Okay, now we will talk about the full stop. When a sentence ends, we put a full stop at the end. This describes that the sentence is completed and the message in the sentence is delivered. Like the sentence, the girl is playing the piano. At the end, we have put the full stop. The full stop is put at the end of the sentence by describing that the message is delivered and the sentence is completed. The full stop is drawn like a dot. When we make the dot bigger, it becomes a period. It's not a full stop. So always remember that to make a full stop, we just touch the pencil to the page. Okay, so these are the rules to where we can use the full stop. In the end of the declarative sentence, like this sentence, Alina is my friend. At the end of this sentence, we have put the full stop because it is declaring that Alina is my friend. Now, the second rule is after the titles. The titles can be Mr., Mrs., Sir, Doctor, etc. In this sentence, Mrs. Akhtar is my mother's best friend. In the sentence, after the title Mrs., we have put the full stop. The third rule is between the decimal points, between the number as a decimal point. For example, the average price of roses is increased by 2.2%. The fourth rule is following an abbreviation. We are mutual friends, enemies, etc. The abbreviation can be approx, etc., etc. Now, the fifth and the last rule is it can also show the end of a group of words that don't form a typical sentence. For example, he was not allowed to do that, full stop, not while he was the leader of the group. So, in this sentence, it is make sure that the group of sentences that do not make a typical sentence, but we put at the end of the sentence to show its meaning to form a sentence complete. Now, students, we are going to start the next punctuation mark, which is a comma. Why we use comma in the sentence? Sentence need comma in order to be clear in meaning. To clear a sentence, we need a comma. Like in this sentence, there are red, comma, pink, comma, yellow and white flowers in my garden. If you don't put commas in this sentence would not be clear in the meaning. There are also some rules that how, why and where we use commas in the sentence. Now, the first rule to use a comma is to separate a list of 3 or more words in a row. Like in this sentence, I have bought pencil, sharpener, ruler, color pencils and marker for exams. We will put to separate them. The second rule is to separate names of city and state in a sentence. The second rule is to separate names of city and state in a sentence. For example, in this sentence, the Mazar-e-Qaid is in Karachi, comma, Sindh. The name of the city and state province is separated by the comma. More rules to use a comma in the sentence are, number 3, to separate the day, month and year in a date. For example, what is the difference between March 23rd, 2013 and March 23rd, 2020. Fourth rule is before a conjunction which joins two sentences. For example, either you enjoy the rain, comma, or you curse the rain. Number 5th sentence is the 5th rule is to separate person's name in direct address. For example, would you like to answer this question, comma, Fatma? The 6th rule is after introductory words like yes, no, well, hey, now, etc. For example, hey, comma, this bike is mine. Now, the 7th rule is to separate 2 or more adjectives from the same group that are describing a noun. Like in this sentence, an orphanage needs kind, comma, wise and generous caretakers. The 8th and the last rule is before and after a person's name in a direct address if the name is in middle of the sentence. For example, does this shop belongs to you, comma, Mrs. Amir or to someone else? Okay students, now we will start a new punctuation mark which is a question mark. Where we use the question mark, how we use the question marks and which kind of sentence we use the question mark. They are used to show a question. A question mark is used to show a question. Like in this sentence, which color is this? There is only a single rule to use a question mark in the sentences. They are put at the end of asking sentences. Now what are asking sentences? Asking sentences are such sentences which ask a question, which questionify a question. They are also called question sentences. And they start with question words like what, which, who, whom, where, etc. They can also start with some helping verbs. For example, like in this sentence, what is that? This sentence starts with a question word and after that we have put the question mark. In the second sentence, will you play with me? This sentence is starting with the helping verb and at the end we have put the question mark by showing that it is an asking question.